What makes a good combat system? One that allows you to do tons of combos? Is it a system like the one in Assassin's Creed Shadows, where the combat doesn't feel as heavy as other games, but it's more simplistic and applies to a wider audience? Does a combat system being intricate and hard to master make it bad? Today, we will be analyzing the combat system of one of my favorite games of all time, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro was the 2019 Game of the Year. Published by Activision and developed by FromSoftware, Sekiro was a major risk for FromSoftware. It's a linear action game that has the RPG components stripped out from it. Everyone has the same set of tools, and the game follows the story of a singular character named Wolf. You don't create your class like in the other Souls games. So with these changes in mind, you would think the game would fail because it deviated from the formula that worked, right? Well, you're wrong. The game ended up being the most refined title in the series, and carved out a dedicated fan base that is still passionate about the game to this day. This is due to the narrower focus and how in-depth the combat system was for that game. We haven't really seen anything like it since, and it even started its own genre of Sekiro-likes that are coming out soon. Phantom Blade Zero and Wuchang Fallen Feathers are two games with heavy parry emphasis and posture. The game Wolong Fallen Dynasty is the closest Sekiro-like that has come out with emphasis on breaking posture, parrying, and then landing a badass deathblow animation. While those games tried, they failed to really capture what Sekiro did with its combat system. And you might ask yourself, why is that? Well, in today's video, we will be discussing that combat system in depth, starting with the core tenets of the system. Tenet 1 of Sekiro is deflect everything. The block button is your best friend in Sekiro, so you might as well remove the dodge button, because it's pretty much useless except for a few occasions. You're going to need to be patient and deflect every attack in Sekiro except for attacks that have a red symbol above them, which those need to be Mikiri countered, or you have to jump on their head to damage their posture. Deflecting also does more damage to their posture than attacking. So while enemies have a health bar, you will diminish their posture bar way before you deplete their health, if you're playing the game right. The second tenet is posture management. While you're deflecting, you will fill up your posture bar, but as long as you deflect, your posture bar will never break. That is demonstrated in this gameplay footage from Ong Bal, who is an insane Sekiro player. Does a lot of no-hit runs on bosses and perfect parry videos. That pretty much covers the second tenet, and it's important to keep this in mind. This makes the battles feel inherently different from many other games. As in other games, you don't have an enemy that is shielded, they just have a health bar that you have to contend with. In Sekiro, it is your goal to break the enemy's posture so you can land that death blow, or you will not be able to kill the bosses at all. This means you are forced to adapt to the game's combat system, and it can be incredibly punishing. Enemies are more erratic and aggressive in Sekiro like the Guardian Ape, and the game isn't afraid to throw you for a loop with a boss that looks like it breaking the deflect tradition. But it's not. The Blazing Bull is an example of this, where you spend most of your time chasing this boss and deflecting its ram attack. The third tenet of the game that is most important is hesitation is defeat. It's true that in Sekiro, if you hesitate, the tiniest mistake or not being confident in your abilities will lead to failure every single time. This was something I struggled with a lot while playing Sekiro. In fact, it took me 3 different separate playthroughs for the gameplay to finally click. I was stubborn and didn't take my time to learn specific mechanics, and the game punished me for that. If you're in a boss fight in Sekiro, make each action deliberate despite the outcome, and that will prevent you from fumbling a boss fight that you have in the bag. Those are the 3 core tenets of Sekiro that you need to master in order to beat Sekiro, and it's this process that makes the combat system the best combat system out of any game I have ever played. Thanks for watching and listening to me explain the combat system and why I think it's the best. Let me know if you agree with me, or if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to get more Elden Ring, Night Rain, and Souls content, and that's going to do it for today's video.